we back, man. Welcome back to the Golden Goose DFS show. I am your host, Chandler Blakely, aka Goose. We are the leaders in single entry, 3 max and 20 max content, but have no fear if that's not your particular style of play, man. It does not matter if you're playing NBA DFS at all, man. This is one of the best spots you can be in. Trust me, you will not be sorry. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when the videos and content drop. And also, do me one small favor, man. Everybody, hit that like button, man. We came up like 10 likes short of 100. Let's get it back to 100 likes on this video, please and thank you, man. Get some of that good karma, some of that good energy headed your way this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you listening to this, man. We all need good karma, good energy in our life. So hit that like button and get some of that in your life, all right? Thank you for tuning in. This is my starting 5 series where I bring you 5 plays that's more than likely going to be in my player pool on DraftKings and FanDuel. Y'all always know I say more than likely just because it is NBA DFS, so you're going to get injury news throughout the day, before lock, after lock, all the way up into the last game locks is going to be injury news. But tonight, it doesn't affect you that much. You just need to get the news beforehand and then settle in on your lineups, because no late swap tonight. So it's going to be set it and forget it tonight at lock. So definitely want to pay attention to the news we get before lock. Any news after lock, there's nothing we can do about it tonight. All right? Got it queued up for you. We're going to get right into it. But before we do, man, you know, we got my lineup review going over my best lineups from yesterday's slate. All right? Now, yesterday, man, got back about half of my buy-in. It's really a couple of plays that tripped me up. I was locked and loaded. I was on a lot of the plays you needed. But the 4 main guys that tripped me up, the guys I was heavy on, Kyle Kuzma, Jabari Smith. But really, the main 2 culprits were P.J. Washington and Dante Exum. Man, they owe me so much money, I'm going to have to send an invoice over there, man. Them 2 cost me big last night. But let's get into this breakdown, man. Pretty much 340 right here. This is my highest scoring lineup in the $1.20 max. At the top, Bones Highland. Once we got Harden ruled out, he was announced a starter. He instantly became some of the best value on the slate. Had plenty of Bones Highland. 4,100 gave you 50 fantasy points. Really went out there and got it done, man. 17 points, 11 assists. Jaylen Brown having a big game here against the Phoenix Suns. 54 points out of him at 8% on, man. A lot of times those guys who be questionable all day then get ruled in late. That's a easy way to get some leverage, because people tend to don't play them as much, especially when they've been questionable all day, and then you get the news 30 minutes before lock they're playing. Those guys typically come in lower ownership. So got to some Jaylen Brown, 8% on, gave you 54 fantasy points. Bilal Coulibaly, just looking for a different value piece here, 4,500, gave you 23 fantasy points. Kyle Kuzma, this matchup here against the Rockets, man, he didn't bring his A game, hence is why they got blowed out here. Only 33 fantasy points from him. Just was only 3 boards, man. He just did not hit. I got a question. Who was getting all the rebounds in this game? Because Kuzma didn't have them, and Jabari Smith didn't really have them either. So I want to know who was getting all the rebounds in this game. I'm going to have to go back and look at the box score, but Kuzma definitely hurt us right here. Got to some Daniel Gafford, 30% on, 42 fantasy points from him. Nice double-double in this spot. Went back to Jalen Green, 19% on. He gave you 51 here. Lou Dort just trying to get another different value piece to differentiate my lineup here. And there's a nice little run back to Kyrie Irving at the bottom. But 10% on, only 21 fantasy points from him. And then Kyrie Irving, everybody's chalk. I told you yesterday on the video, just play him, man. 64 fantasy points here as he kept Dallas Mavericks here in this game. But like I said, got about half of my buy-in back. 340 over there is my highest scoring lineup. My single entry, man, you see the culprits. Highland at the top once again, 42% on, 51 fantasy points. Got back to our man Thompson here, 41% on. He was big night for him, 47 fantasy points. I told you I was playing my boy PG-13, man. If one of those guys was out, Kawhi or Harden, I was playing Paul George. We got Harden. I thought Kawhi was more likely to be out with the back spasm than Harden, but we got Harden ruled out, so I was fine. I got to some Paul George here. Got to a lot of Paul George. I got to some Kawhi too, plenty of Kawhi as well. But Paul George, 8% on, just 51 fantasy points. Nice game, nice outing here against the Bulls. Kuzma, you already know, destroyed me. Jabari Smith, 48% on, just absolutely destroyed me. Like, these are two starting centers. The Kuzma started at the center and Jabari Smith started at the center. They don't got 10 rebounds between the both of them. Like, I'm really going to have to go evaluate this box score and just see where it went to. I mean, it probably wasn't a whole lot of rebounds or 135 to 120 score, but still, 8 rebounds out of 2 starting centers, man. Come on, man. Jabari just really let me down. 24 fantasy points here. Kyrie Irving, 63% on this single entry, 64 fantasy points. And then you can just see PJ Washington and Dante Exum. Like, regardless of how these two perform, they was on so much that if these two just come through, we still in the money. I still put up 291 with 4 snowflakes. And we still put up right at 300 points with 4 snowflakes here, man. If they just bring it, you know what I mean? I can live with Kuzma and Jabari Smith. Obviously, you want more from them, but my cheap value pieces here with no superstar down here, this is the ones you want to bring you home. So they really let me down in this spot. And just to emphasize and bring home how much PJ Washington and Dante Exum cost me, I'm going to show y'all one more lineup. This is from my 3 max over here. I'm going to show y'all one more lineup, man. 330 over here with these two. I ain't gonna cuss on my YouTube, man, but PJ Washington and Dante Exum owe me so much money, man. I went to bed. I was like, I just knew I was finna wake up to some money. I went to bed with this last game to play. I had PJ Exum, SGA, and Kyrie in there. I was like, oh man, this could be a great night. But lo and behold, these two just really sunk my battleship. But enough of my rant, man. Let's go look at FanDuel over here. Single entry over here. Dosunmu killed me over here, man. I told you I liked him yesterday on this shorter slate over here on FanDuel. He absolutely destroyed me. Only 15 right at 15 fantasy points at 33% ownership. But similar situation over here. You see Bones Highland, Paul George, just the players I was on. Houston guys, Jalen Green. Ran it back with the Washington guys over here just because of how I had to build with the 4 games. But Avdia was solid. Koulibaly, Kuzma, disappointing performance. Jabari Smith once again. And then Zubac let me down in this one. Was trying to get to a value piece at center. We was hoping Rashawn Holmes played. I think that's who I showed in the video. But end up going Zubac. Thought he could see a little extra run going against Vucevic down here. You know, Vucevic plays big minutes. Zubac got 32 minutes, just did not give us the performance. He's usually live for a double-double, but did not get there for us today. Yeah, and that was my FanDuel lineup. Just the one single entry over here. Let's get to today's slate, man. We got a nice 6-gamer on DK and then a 5-gamer on FanDuel. They want to drop the late game. They doing their own thing out here. So we'll see. But we got it pulled up. And like I said at the beginning of the video, guys, there's no late swap tonight. So you're going to have to make some decisions early. We should get some news, but you know these 8 o'clock games, 8:30, 9:30, we may not have any injury news from there. And if anything happens out of lock, you just screwed. You just got to hope if something happens in your favor. But at the top, at the point guard, I want to look at Keontae George, man. 6,600. Price is coming up, but he's coming off of 2 good performances, man. You look at his last 2 games against tough defenses. He had 44 against the Denver Nuggets and 41 against the Boston Celtics, man. Coming off of 2 good games against tough defenses, like I said. Now you walking into this gravy matchup here against the Atlanta Hawks that play at a fast pace and has one of the worst defenses in the NBA. It just bodes well for Keontae George here at 6,600. I like getting to him. You know the minutes is going to be there. The Jazz are without Clarkson, I believe, over here, and Dunn. So Dunn and Jordan Clarkson is out. You know he should see he should probably push 35. He may push 35, 36 minutes here in this spot, providing the game is not a blowout or foul trouble. But I like getting Keontae George at 6,600 here. Hopefully he continue those hot shooting and good playing ways here against these Atlanta Hawks. At the shooting guard, I got my eye on Marcus Sasser. Now, he's going to play. Quentin Grimes is still out. But we have Cade Cunningham questionable with knee injury management. It's getting close to the end of the season. Detroit has no hope for the playoffs. It wouldn't be any surprise to see them kind of slowly shutting down Cade Cunningham. No reason your star player should still be out there playing 36, 37 minutes a night when you're not going to the playoffs. So I can see them dialing Cade Cunningham back. Now, I don't know if he rests in this spot. Like I said, Sasser is just one of those plays. He's a solid player at 3,700, and if Cunningham rules out, he should get in. He should get the start and be probably one of the best value plays on the slate. And we're going to have this news, so there's no need to really worry. This is a 7 o'clock game. We should have this news at worst 6:30. You know, so please, just keep an eye on the injury news. But give me Marcus Sasser. I think he's in play regardless because he's going to play like 20 to 25 minutes off the bench. He's going to be one of the first guys up off the bench for to get the guard some relief. So got my eye on Marcus Sasser at 3,700. At the small forward, you see it, man. I don't mind going right back to my boy Paul George. Price then dropped a little bit, couple $100. Now he down to $8K. Matchup here against the Pelicans, tough. This is a tough game, but I mean, all the games are tough today. There's no 235, no 240 team totals. Everything like 220. I think 222 is the highest, 221 somewhere and under. So there's no big high game totals for you to jump to. All the games are going to be tough. Give me Paul George, 8K. Second night of a back-to-back. I'm not too worried as long as James Harden is out. That's the only caveat. If Harden plays this game, if we even get that news before lock, I would be a little cautious with Paul George, but he's still solid regardless. But mainly hoping Harden is still out and we can get just Paul George and Kawhi really running this offense. And if Harden is out, that's going to open back up Bones Highland once again as well. So we just keeping an eye out on that news there. But definitely want to look at some Paul George. At the power forward spot, I'm going to stay in this same game and look at Zion Williamson. Another guy playing well the last couple of games. I know it's a tough defense over there against the Clippers. They got strong wing defenders with George and Kawhi. But Clippers do give it up to the power forward position a little bit this season. And Zion Williams put the power in power forward, man. He's a tall task to handle. It'd be interesting to see how they try to defend him. But definitely got interest in Zion here at 8,300. At the center spot, I want to look at Clint Capella. Now, this is another injury spot. We definitely probably won't have this news. But Clint Capella minutes slowly ticking up. And we have a questionable Jalen Johnson. Now, if Jalen Johnson plays or we get that news after morning shooting round that he went through shooting round, he's likely to play, I would be a little less I would like Capella a little less at 6,300 because they like to play that small ball with Jalen Johnson running the center. But provided Jalen Johnson is out, we know Okongwu is still out over here. Capella minutes been slowly ticking up, like I said. Hopefully he can get to 30 here in this spot, but even in the limited minutes he's been getting, he's still crushing with double-double. So he's live here. They get a double-double at 6,300. I like going right back to him against these Utah Jazz. Like I said, provided that Jalen Johnson out. Capella's in play regardless. I'm just going to like him a little less if Jalen Johnson plays because they like to run those small ball lineups with him at center. But there you have it, man. Your starting five for DraftKings. Clint Capella, Zion Williamson, Paul George, Marcus Sasser, and Keontae George. Get you some exposure to these guys. Get them in your player pools. Let's go take a look at FanDuel and see what I'm feeling over there, all right? FanDuel at the top doesn't change much. Still looking at Marcus Sasser. Going to need that Cade Cunningham news, but he's live. He's going to play regardless. It's just a question of does his minutes increase with the lack of Cade Cunningham or do they kind of stay where they at? But sign me up for Marcus Sasser, 4,300. Shooting guard, Paul George, 8,200 over here. perfectly fine with it. It's just a huge price decrease from him. And I know I got him at the shooting guard spot, but it's just a huge gap between him and the other forwards here, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. They 9-4 and up. So I definitely take that price discount right here with Paul George on FanDuel at 8,200. At the small forward, man, you see it. Bruce Brown, 5,900. They probably still without Gary Trent Jr. tonight. We shall see. But they definitely still without RJ Barrett for personal reasons. So I expect Bruce Brown to continue to be in the starting lineup provided Trent Jr. is out. Now, if Trent Jr. plays, maybe it's Brown at the small forward. Maybe it's Grady Dick. We shall see. But long as Bruce Brown's starting, I like him here at 5,900. At the power forward, want to look at Miles Bridges, 8,800, going against the Phoenix Suns. Listen, Bridges' role is just immaculate, man. He's playing almost 40 minutes every night. He's getting the touches over here. He just has every opportunity it is, man. Give me some Miles Bridges at 8,800. Just sheer volume play right here, man. If he can get a hot night shooting and scoring the ball, he can give you a 50-plus point performance here in this spot. But give me Miles Bridges, 8,800. And then at the center spot, man, I want to look at Jusuf Nurkic. You know, centers against Charlotte, man, they just have their way with the Charlotte Hornets down here. You look at Nurkic coming off a 20-rebound night here. I expect him to continue his dominating ways on the glass and down low against these Charlotte Hornets. Don't know if he get 20 rebounds again, but he's definitely in line for a big double-double in this spot, man. I can't even think of the center down there for Charlotte. He's not gonna be able to do nothing with him, man. Give me Jusuf Nurkic, 7,100. Nick Richards, I couldn't think of his name for nothing. Nick Richards for the Hornets is not gonna be able to do much with Nurk, man. He's just too big down there, and he's on the glass like an animal. Give me some Jusuf Nurkic at the center spot. There you have it, man. Your starting five for FanDuel: Jusuf Nurkic, Miles Bridges, Bruce Brown, Paul George, and Marcus Sasser. Get you some exposure to these guys. Get them in your player pools. You know they're going to be in mine, all right? That's going to do it for us here today, man. Y'all know any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up down below in the comment section or holler at me on Twitter. Don't be afraid to ask any questions, man. I'll respond once I get it, all right? That's going to do it for us here today, man. Y'all know the motto. Chances make champions. Y'all green up. I'll catch y'all next time, all right? Let's get it.